Welcome back to the Badass Broadcast, where we keep it real, raw, and unapologetic as fuck. I am your host, favorite fire starter, and nervous system regulator, the Queen Lady T. And today we are closing out the Queen Code series. And honestly, I can't think of a better way to end this series than this conversation right here. Because after all the red flags, after all the heartbreak, all the attachment, confusion, lessons, situationships, betrayal, self-abandonment, overgiving, overthinking, and emotional chaos, who do you even become after all of it? That's the real question. Because heartbreak changes people, but that doesn't have to be a bad thing. Let's get into it.
Broadcast. It's your time. Step into the spotlight. Let yourself shine.
So, who do you become after all the bullshit? Some people become bitter, some become guarded, some spend years chasing closure, revenge, validation, or replacement. But some people rebuild themselves. And this episode is for those people. This is not about heartbreak destroying you. This is about heartbreak revealing you. Because heartbreak doesn't just create wounds. It exposes the ones that were already there. And sometimes the most painful part of losing somebody is not even losing them. It's realizing how much of yourself you lost trying to keep them. How much you tolerated, how much you ignored, how many times you abandoned your intuition just to hold on to connection. And whew, that realization will humble you real quick. Because sometimes heartbreak is not just grief over another person. Sometimes it's grief over the version of yourself that settled for less than you deserved. The version of yourself that begged for crumbs while calling it love. The version of yourself that stayed too long hoping potential would finally become reality. The version of yourself that kept trying to prove your worth to people who already benefited from you doubting it. And listen, I'm not saying this with judgment. I'm coming to you from the middle of that very fire, grieving for the woman I could have been, should have been, and maybe would have been had I not stayed too long. I'm coming to you saying this with full compassion, because a lot of us were never taught how to love without self-abandonment. We were taught survival, performance, people-pleasing, endurance, not peace. And that's why so many people confuse emotional chaos with chemistry. If somebody is inconsistent, emotionally unavailable, hard to read, sending mixed signals, making you anxious all the time, somehow that gets labeled deep connection. No, baby. That's nervous system activation. That's the wound talking. And healing starts when you stop romanticizing the things that are hurting you. One of the biggest lessons I've learned in this, someone not choosing you does not decrease your value. And I know that's hard for people to sit with because rejection can feel deeply personal. But everybody who leaves is not meant to stay. Everybody who disconnects from you is not a reflection of your worth. Some people are lessons. Some people are mirrors. Some people are assignments. Some people are simply not aligned. And when you finally stop measuring your worth by who stayed, everything changes. Because now you're no longer chasing validation. You're choosing alignment. You stop asking, what do I need to do to be loved? And you start asking, does this connection actually feel healthy, mutual, safe, and aligned for me? That's the shift right there. And that shift is life-changing because peace becomes more attractive than chaos. And honestly, I think that's one of the biggest signs of healing, when peace stops feeling boring. When you no longer crave emotional roller coasters just to feel something. When consistency becomes attractive. Calmness becomes attractive. Honesty becomes attractive. When you stop confusing intensity with intimacy. Because let me tell y'all something, chaos is not passion. Anxiety is not love. Confusion is not chemistry. And being constantly emotionally activated is not proof someone matters. Sometimes it's just proof that they're triggering wounds that still need attention. The healed version of you stops glorifying struggle love. The healed version of you stops trying to force connection. The healed version of you understand that love does not require self-betrayal. And that's really what reclaiming your power is. It's reclaiming yourself after self-abandonment. Because a lot of people lose themselves inside of relationships. You start shrinking, overcompromising, silencing yourself, betraying your own boundaries, becoming who you think somebody else needs you to be just to keep the connection alive. And after enough of that, you don't even recognize yourself anymore. That's why healing is not just about moving on from another person. It's about returning to yourself. Who are you outside of survival mode? Who are you outside of proving your worth? Who are you outside of being needed? Who are you outside of relationships? Some of y'all have never met yourselves outside of attachment. And that's why solitude feels terrifying. And listen, being alone is not the same thing as being empty. And honestly, some of the most peaceful moments of my life came after I stopped forcing connection just because I didn't want to be alone. Because loneliness starts disappearing when you stop abandoning yourself. And for the first time in my life, I became emotionally available for me. I started listening to myself, trusting myself, honoring my intuition instead of arguing with it, protecting my peace instead of sacrificing it for potential. And that's what it means to become the queen of your own peace. It means your peace is no longer negotiable. It means you stop handing people access to your energy just because they desire you. It means you move slower. You observe more. You stop trying to control outcomes. You stop trying to force forever out of temporary people. You stop chasing closure from people who lack the emotional maturity to even give it. You stop trying to convince people to love you correctly. Because the queen of her own peace understands something powerful. Love that requires self-abandonment is too fucking expensive. And once you truly understand your worth, you stop entertaining things that cost your nervous system too much. You stop ignoring red flags because somebody is attractive. You stop confusing attention with respect. You stop calling breadcrumbs effort. And you stop waiting for people to become who they already showed you they are not. That's growth. That's healing. That's emotional sovereignty. And listen, this does not mean you become cold. This does not mean you stop loving or stop being soft. It means your softness finally becomes protected by wisdom. And that is a very different kind of woman. A healed woman still loves deeply, but she no longer loves recklessly. She no longer pours endlessly into people who drain her. She no longer sees fixing people as proof of love. She no longer confuses being needed with being valued. And maybe, most importantly, she no longer needs external validation to confirm her worth. Because she knows who the fuck she is. And peace becomes the standard. Not chaos, inconsistency, confusion, emotional games. Peace. And before we close out the Queen Code series, I just want to take a moment to honor the version of you that survived everything that tried to break her. The version of you that kept going even when your heart was tired. The version of you that learned hard lessons and still chose healing instead of bitterness. The version of you that is still learning how to trust, love, soften, and grow. Take a deep breath with me. and repeat aloud or in your head. I release what no longer aligns. I do not abandon myself for connection. My peace is sacred. I trust myself fully. I deserve relationships that feel safe, mutual, honest, and aligned. I no longer chase what cannot choose me freely. I am whole before love arrives. I am worthy without performance. I am the queen of my own peace. Take one more deep breath to anchor that in. And if the Queen Codes taught you anything, I hope they taught you this. Love does not require self-betrayal. Healing is not becoming perfect. It's becoming aware. It's learning yourself deeply enough that you stop confusing chaos for connection. It's trusting yourself enough to walk away when someone no longer aligns. It's understanding that your peace is not something everybody deserves access to. And most importantly, it's realizing your power was never in who stayed. Your power was always in you. Thank you for taking this Queen Code journey with me. And trust me, we are not done yet. Remember, love, you are an unstoppable badass, worthy of everything your heart desires. Let's get it.
Queen energy, feel the heat when I walk in. Bow down.
If this episode spoke to your soul, don't keep it to yourself. Like it, share it, send it to someone who needs a dose of badassery in their life. Want to be a guest on the show? Got a powerful story, message, or mission? Apply now at unstoppablebadass.me. If you're a seer, light worker, or spiritual badass who's done shrinking, step inside the fire and rise with us in Sacred Wildfire, my virtual queen circle. Feeling stuck or ready to break through? Book your free badass breakthrough session and let's uncover what's been holding you back. Clarity, power, momentum, all waiting on the other side. Ready to activate your healing gifts? Enroll in my Kundalini Reiki activation and attunement course. Step into or deepen your healer's journey with sacred energy work that transforms you from the inside out. Want to show some love? Donate or shop at buymeacoffee.com/The Queen Lady Tea, because your support helps me keep lighting fires and dropping truth. You can find all these links and more in the show notes or at my website, sacredwildfire.com. Thank you so much for rocking with me, and I'll catch you on the next episode of the Badass Broadcast.
It's the best broadcast. It's your time, step into the spotlight, let yourself shine.